Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the weekly meditation challenge, where we're going through Atisha's mind training slogans. We are on the seventh of these slogans now, which is often translated as sending and taking should be practiced alternately. These two should ride the breath. This is a really interesting one because it refers to the Buddhist practice of Tonglen. Tonglen is, in my opinion, a very advanced practice. Now, hopefully, everyone here has at least received the initial meditation instruction through me or through other people and has been doing the meditation of calm abiding. We'll do a little bit of it today. It's important to have an established meditation practice before you take this sort of thing on, but it is pretty early on in this whole series for Atisha. We started with the absolute bodhicitta, open-hearted teachings, where we had a lot of teachings around wisdom mind, how to just relax into our natural state of wisdom, how to be a child of illusion in our post-meditation practice, i.e. not take things so seriously, not solidify our world so consistently. And this is a practice that does relate to that because it's a practice that we take in and give out certain visuals, certain textures, certain feelings, and it's important that we hold on to our wisdom mind as we do it. So Tonglen, Tong being sending or sending out, Len being receiving. We're sending out, we're receiving various things, and we'll go through the practice in just a minute. Just to provide a little bit of view around it, though, the Tonglen practice is essentially a way for us to undo some of the habitual ways that we put ourselves before other people. This is a mentality I think many of us carry around, where we think solely about ourselves and don't always realize that there's a gazillion other people surrounding us at all times who are also just trying to be happy. So this is a empathy practice where we are able to connect more fully and authentically with them. And that will lay the ground for us to do more of the relative bodhicitta, open-hearted work in terms of the skillful means of how to be there compassionately for them. So Chogyam Trungpa Rinpoche, in the book Training the Mind and Cultivating Loving Kindness, said, quote, "The problem with most people is that they're always trying to give out the bad and take in the good. That has been the problem of society in general and the world altogether. But now we are on the Mahayana path and the logic is reversed. That is fantastic, extraordinary," unquote. So Mahayana path, the greater vehicle. Why is it greater? Because we're caring for others. We're including all beings in our practice. And this is a way to do that, this particular Tonglen practice. Often I'm asked, is this meant to really be helpful for the other person? So for example, if you're breathing in the suffering of another human being, you're breathing in their sickness, is it helpful? Do they actually feel less sick? Could be. Very well could be. There could be some power there. But I know it's definitely helpful for us. It's definitely helpful for us to flex our empathy muscles and really start to understand what other people are experiencing and ways that we could connect more fully to them. So let's do this practice together. And then the weekly meditation challenge, in this case, will be to do a little bit of Tonglen every day. Just maybe 5 minutes of Tonglen. So we'll do a short version. If you really want to explore this practice, you could do it over the course of a full half hour. You could take one day to really expand each of these so that you would start by sitting and sit for maybe 10 minutes. And then there's a moment where I'll guide us and we'll just sort of rest the mind and there's a gap. And then you would start working with texture. You could do that for maybe 5 or so minutes. And then at the end, we bring in the person that we would want to start with and then spend about 3 minutes on them, then getting larger to bring in all of these other people, as you'll see in the practice. So it starts with sitting, a gap, the texture, which you could do for a few minutes, then the individual person, then getting larger. Overall, I would say this takes about a half hour, and you want to rest once again at the end in post-meditation with you can just return to the breath. It's probably the best way to do it. So if you want to join me in taking your quote-unquote good meditation posture where we essentially feel grounded and uplifted at the same time, so a strong connection to earth, and then lifting up through the spine, just taking the time to really land in our body. And we'll do the basic shamatha practice where we focus on the breath, just feeling the breath as it moves in and out of our body quite naturally, realizing we don't have to do or fix anything here, just relaxing with the natural state of it. You can actually move into the Tonglen practice by beginning to breathe in whatever you're feeling. You yourself, your sadness, any agitation, anger, resistance, just accepting it with kindness. And on the exhalation, we breathe out a sense of well-being, ease, and calm, giving yourself some spaciousness. And I invite you now to just raise your gaze up toward the horizon, dropping the object of your meditation. Just rest your mind for a moment. Rest in that wisdom mind. Just taking that gap. And now to move more fully into the Tonglen practice, we'll continue to focus on our breathing, but on your in-breath, imagine that you're inhaling heavy, hot air. And on your out-breath, visualize exhaling cool, light, fresh air. And we'll continue with this pattern, breathing in this heaviness, breathing out that sense of lightness until it's familiar to you. The idea of Tonglen here is that we're receiving the sense of suffering, that heaviness, and sending out that sense of lightness, well-being on the out-breath. We can get bigger here, imagining that you're breathing through all of the pores of your body. On the in-breath, there's that heavy, hot air which enters through every pore. On the out-breath, this coolness, though, flows from every pore. We continue to allow the breath to be a stabilizing influence in this practice. We don't need to feel overwhelmed. Based on the previous study, we know that this is all quite ephemeral in some ways. But we're visualizing bringing in the heaviness, breathing out this lightness. Now I invite you to bring to mind someone whom you know is suffering. This could be a family member who is sick, a loved one who is in emotional distress, someone you don't know very well but your heart goes out to them. Imagine what they may be suffering. Imagine what that might be like for them. And we'll just stay with that. You might get to the point where you would feel inclined to do anything to actually help this being out. And we'll breathe in the various types of suffering that we might imagine. So if it's someone who is sick, those feelings of claustrophobia, fever, anxiety, and we breathe out a sense of wellness, peace, comfort. On the in-breath, we breathe in some form of their suffering. On the out-breath, we offer whatever we have to give, whatever sense of peace of mind or health or whatever it might be, we offer to this person. Being with this being, feeling what they are experiencing. We let our whole mind turn toward their suffering and the wish that it might actually be relieved. As the slogan says, this should ride the breath. So in breath, we imagine breathing in this suffering. Out breath, we offer whatever we have to offer. This is certainly where it gets very juicy for people, so just please try to gently stay with whatever experience arises. And then we can get bigger. We can think of other people who might be suffering in the exact same way. Or people who suffer in similar ways, who might have the same sickness or anxiety and emotional upset, whatever it might be. It could be people that we know, it could be people we don't know. But we bring them to mind. We breathe in this quality is for all beings. Breathing in the specific understanding of the pain, the emotional upset, whatever it might be, and breathing out all that we have to offer. Our upliftedness, our joy, our health, whatever it may be that could be of benefit to these beings. When you're ready, you can just bring your attention back to the breath, letting the formal Tonglen practice go, resting with whatever feelings may have come up. Bringing our full attention back to feeling the in-breath and the out-breath as it naturally flows through us. Okay. So this is a short version of the Tonglen practice. I think a full half hour is most appropriate if you're able to do it. This was probably about 10 minutes, and even that was a little rushed. So I'm going to retract my 5-minute statement from earlier. If you could do this 10 minutes a day, really bookending it with the shamatha though, really bookending it by being grounded in the calm abiding meditation, that would be best. So if you are able to do Tonglen for 10 minutes and shamatha for 5 minutes on either end, that would be good. And if you would like to use this recording, you can. I have other recordings on YouTube of this on the half-hour version. You could also find recordings of Pema Chodron doing it on YouTube, and that will probably be much more profound. So please join me in just doing 10 minutes of Tonglen. And the more we do it, the more it actually starts to become second nature. So when you're walking by a pet store, which is something that happens to me pretty frequently here in New York, and there are puppies that are waiting to be adopted, but you don't necessarily feel good about supporting the pet store based on the way that the whole industry that exists there, and your heart might break a little, and you might just stand there for a second outside the pet store and just do what's called on-the-spot Tonglen, where you just connect and breathe in the suffering of the animals, and breathe out whatever sense of relief you can offer. It becomes more natural. It becomes sort of second nature the more we do Tonglen. So it's incredibly important to practice. But if you're brand new to meditation, I don't think you should do it. I think you should just do shamatha. But if you've been doing shamatha, I think this is a very, very important practice, and it's probably good to try it out for this week. And I hope you'll join me, and I hope you post on the Facebook group to share your experience. And I look forward to hearing a lot more about it. And I'm here for you. I'm very much here to support this practice. Thank you.